Welcome, affiliated listeners, to another episode of the Affiliated Podcast, where I am in my closeted studio of ClickBank generating some great content. And today we have some really exciting guests. And I always say that sometimes, maybe oftentimes, but this time I'm actually really excited, not only because they're two incredibly smart, cool guys, but they have something, an opportunity for any media buyer out there, especially if you've ever dabbled in native traffic. But if you're doing anything in paid traffic or might involving pages, there's a way that you aren't aware of right now where you could just bring more money into your business without actually having to do anything more. Make your ad campaigns all of a sudden magically more profitable. It's like a wand in times when things are so hard that just magically makes money appear. Now, that's not exactly what it is, but it's almost that way, and we're really excited to talk about it, as well as the guests that we have on. They're really connected, and we got connected to them because they are working with one of our largest media buyers in the native ad space. So they have tons of amazing data, tons of amazing insights into that paid media world. And at the end, we're also going to give some sprinkles on what is working, some things that you should be paying attention to. So not only are we going to give you more money, we're going to give you ways to make more money in terms of understanding your own markets, your own ads that you're doing right now. So strap in, guys. This is going to be one of those things that you bookmark and think, remember when you listened to that podcast and how life was before this, and now what it's going to be like after this. So with that, let's introduce the UpAds team. We have Asaf and Avi, and it's Asaf Levy and Avi Bieber, right? So I just want to make sure I'm getting that all right, because a Levy and Avi makes me want to just muck it together like a substitute teacher. So how are you two doing today, guys?
Well, good.
Good. Thank you.
Perfect.
Good. Well, glad to have you. Really excited to talk about this today, as I kind of said before. But to kind of get going, just how, before we go into the amazing stuff that UpAds is doing and how you guys are just almost printing money for media buyers, it's still just crazy. But let's talk a little bit about, before the company does, how you guys even got here. How did you find yourself in this business? How did UpAds get here today? And then we'll break into what you guys are doing to really transform businesses.
Yeah, so we started the company 5 years ago, and before that, Asaf and I worked for an affiliate network in the lead gen space. Um, we worked with a lot of big advertisers, and these advertisers had multiple ways of monetizing all of their advertising flows. So they were selling leads in real time, and sometimes they were selling the lead as a shared lead. They were monetizing the thank you page. They were selling age data. They were selling real-time data. And the affiliate really had nothing. And we wanted to figure out a way where, we could get some more money to the affiliates because they were doing, all the real heavy lifting. And we came up with our first product, which was the Leave Behind product, where we would take a pre-landing page that a user would land on through, native traffic or any other high quality traffic, Google search or email, whatever it was. And the user would click on this pre-landing page. The user would be redirected in a new tab to the destination URL, and they would continue the flow. And if they opted out of the flow, and unfortunately, most of the time, this is what happens, the first thing they would see would be a monetized page where we would do a URL redirect of their pre-landing page. And we were able to generate, between 15 and 25% additional profit for all of these affiliates we were working with. That's really how the company started, and we've grown a lot since then. We have many more products since then, but that's really how we started.
So let's break that down again. So just because you guys saying through, essentially what you're doing is you're taking, we know native media buyers, and there's actually other that are probably doing this on Meta as well, where you're gonna have a pre-sell landing page. So there's lots of strategies, and whether it's an advertorial, whether it's just, a standard kind of pre-sell page, there's lots of different versions we see. But you guys take that, and we know obviously the goal is, hey, we want to send that over to maybe a specific offer, but not everyone's going there. So essentially you found a way to still capitalize on the attention that they had, not necessarily off their main goal, but hey, all the people that say no or maybe don't necessarily go to that initial VSL and buy, if that's what they're pushing, we're going to basically take that and retarget it towards other traffic and other monetized pages. Is that all other products? Or I guess I'm kind of curious, like, how do you guys work out in that? Because that almost seems like a no-brainer, but like how are you guys able to know, okay, they didn't click on the link, here's how we divert them, how do we get them in front of these pages? And I'm just kind of curious how that flow works, if I'm understanding it correctly.
Most of our partners, we know that they work with a specific offer. So if it's life insurance, we connect them with additional life insurance offer. If it's shoes,
Mm.
we show them shoes. If it's medical, we can show them medical, but in most cases, we can also show complementary ads. So we time after a couple of days, our algorithm and our backend knows what kind of consumers we have, and then based on that, we can match different kind of inventory. So that's how we do it. We optimize it on our end constantly with different keywords, ad units, design, and all of that. And with the goal, obviously, to increase the revenue that we can generate for our partners. So it's
So that's really interesting, real fast. Because the piece there is you guys don't. It's not same day. You'll give some time for that original conversion to happen, and then it's really like because after 48 hours, after a couple days, you're not retargeting anybody, so they're not coming back to your random
no,
ad, right? So
yes,
so but you're still able to monetize. That's how you monetize. We'll call it the abandoned traffic, or essentially the leads that didn't go anywhere. Um,
exactly,
Gotcha. Okay. And you guys could do that again with anything. It doesn't have to be a lead. It could be a CPA offer, similar to what we were
yes,
talking about with the mutual clients that we both have. So it could be CPA or VSL offer, and it's that same strategy.
yes. Anyone
Um,
who takes any action on the page, basically, we can activate our solution and help them to monetize these consumers. So, we had many cases, by the way, where our partners made zero margin on the offer itself, but we were able to generate them additional hundreds of dollars a day, and that was their profit. So as long as they were like breaking even on the offer itself, we were able to still bring them additional profits, and they were happy with that.
Nice. That's really
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, you guys now could become an arm, an extension of
Yes.
increased acquisition, right? Or just increased
Mm-hmm.
profitability.
Exactly.
As I kind of said it before, like imagine you could take everything you're already doing and just wave a wand and your campaigns just start making more money without doing anything differently. That's basically what this provides people with is that magic wand of increased profitability.
Exactly. And we all love profit.
Yes,
So
yes,
that's the
exactly.
idea.
We're big fans. We're big fans.
Yeah.
So now, kind of curious on this because we obviously come from the we a pretty aggressive affiliate world, right? We're not. It's not 15 and 10% or 3% on Amazon. These are people that are driving a lot of volume. They're pushing a lot of stuff,
Hmm.
and they get some big payouts. And aggressive commissions. So when you guys are doing those complimentary offers, how are you? I don't want to give you all your secret sauce, but walk me through kind of like are you going and brokering those same deals? Is it on the same platforms? These other unique offers? Where do you kind of get that monetization set from? And then what is? I'm assuming, like, I guess I'm curious. And again, if you guys, hey, we don't really like,
Hmm.
how do you guys make money in that process? So obviously, there's got to be something that you're doing there to make sure that you guys are here and not just running a nonprofit. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
unless we have a charity
Uh,
link at the end for giving you
yeah.
all
Yeah.
those
No,
affiliates more money.
it's a great question. Avi, you want to answer
Yeah, I was actually thinking the same thing. It is a very good question.
that?
So there are a few things that we do. I would say when we start with a new partner, all of the monetization that we're going to be using is going to be through search. So it's going to be Google partners that we work with, Yahoo partners, Bing partners, Ask.com, and we're kind of going to start in that direction. We're going to see what type of keywords users are clicking on, and these can be competitive keywords, and these can be complementary keywords as well. If we're talking about weight loss, we'll know, more women are clicking on these ads than men, and we can, target with more products geared towards females. Afterwards, once we get a sense of, what kind of traffic this is, what types of what these users are, what they're looking for, we can go out and get direct demand that's going to be paying, fixed CPCs that are going to be much higher. With Google and Yahoo, everything is really like open-ended. We don't really know how much we're getting paid at the very moment. We have to wait, a day to figure that out. We do see like revenue clicks in real time. Everything is going to be on a CPC basis. And then to answer your final question, we give the publisher 75% of all of the revenue that's generated, and we take 25%.
Nice. Okay, that's awesome. And I actually really love that because what you just described for a lot of people are avenues of traffic they didn't even know existed, right? So being able to do like search arbitrage or sending in just clicks and hey, we could get you cheap clicks. Where that is sometimes hard to break into that world if you don't know about it and you don't know the right people and the strategies and so on and so forth. But since you guys have all that, basically what you're able to do is say you're giving us high intent clicks, and we take our strategies and know where to put those high intent clicks. That makes a ton of sense. And so yeah, I could see how that would be really profitable and really amazing, especially since, like, again, like I know some guys actually from Israel. He ran basically a click arbitrage business where they would just send clicks over to large marketing companies. They were incredibly successful.
Yeah.
He had a really large exit from it. So it makes a ton of sense. But when he was talking me through this, I'm like, yeah, most people would never even want to go through this work or learn how to do it or build a
Exactly.
relationship. So it's a way for all the affiliates out here buying media. And I guess this doesn't even necessarily have to build media, and we'll go into that in a second. I'd love to see what this looks like, but it's really a way for you to tap into things you probably will never have access to, or have to spend so much time to get to the point that they could replicate what you do, and they'd still run into the same problem as, okay, well, now how do I get the attention? How do I get the clicks? So this makes a ton of sense. And like you were saying before, pretty much any CPL network, large CPL network that you would work with is doing this, but not letting you have any of the profits on it. They're just essentially monetizing all this data and all this traffic and basically telling you, well, you only get this stuff and we'll go monetize it anyway, which I think I love kind of the Robin Hood mentality you guys are doing there. But
Yeah.
if I'm understanding it right, like that feels really impactful if this is happening to you anyway.
And other solutions, I want to mention other solutions that do maybe have something similar. They primarily focusing on stuff like insurance. So we see ourselves as like catch-all kind of solution. So we can do it for e-commerce. We can do it for other lead generation verticals. We can do it for VSLs. We can do it for anything basically out there. And that's the unique part with us. And in addition, we also see ourselves as kind of like a white glove solution. So when someone comes to me and says, Asaf, we have traffic for e-commerce, then we can connect them with ClickBank, or we can connect them with different partners that we have and actually help them with whatever they need besides the solution that we provide. So,
Awesome.
that's also
Love
something.
that. Yeah, it
Which is
truly
a
is like
win-win
it's a
for
partner.
everyone, really.
Yeah.
Because if we
Yeah,
connect,
exactly.
an affiliate with an advertiser, everyone's getting more money.
Well, it's because the way I look at this is an increased efficiency play. We all win when we just play more efficiently. The only people that truly lose in this situation, if anything, are a lot of like the platforms and like advertising platforms, because essentially we could get what we want without spending as much money through them, which they don't like. But if we could stick it to Zuckerberg and Google, why the hell not, right? Like, let's go do it, right? So I'm all for that. Now, what I think it'd be great now to kind of see maybe what the platform looks like. And
Yeah.
I know you guys wanted to show some of that. Well, you're pulling that up though and kind of getting ready. And for share screen too, Asaf, make sure you kind of see it in there. It'll just allow you to do
Yes,
presentation or
I
screen.
see it
But
here.
I'm just kind of curious, while you guys pulling that up, like, how did you find yourself in this online world? So you're working for some, networks and platforms. Is it something you like were doing media buying before? Did you just kind of stumble into it? I'm always curious how people find themselves in the wacky world of online marketing.
I've been in this industry for about 15 years. I started working for a couple companies who are publicly traded now, some big companies out in Tel Aviv. Atomi was a big company back in the day. I was a media buyer in the company. I used to buy a lot of media. I worked for ad networks, affiliate networks, lead exchanges. So really like a big variety of companies, not just like one aspect. So you get more of like a 360 view of the performance advertising world. And we know, how affiliates think. We know how media buyers think because it's what we do. It's in our DNA, and it
Yes.
Yeah.
helps. It's a lot easier to talk to them.
Yeah, I'm sure they appreciate that. So, when you guys know the language, know the lingo, and really know the lifestyle, because I think media buying is a bit of a lifestyle more than anything. It takes
It is. It is.
more than just reading a book to figure out how to do it well.
It is. Each one of us, we used to buy media on different platforms, from native to Facebook to anything else, and we did different type of things. I used to do drop shipping when I was 18 from Alibaba, selling shoes and other stuff,
For a
and
second, I thought you said dog shipping, and I was like,
dog
"Hold on a
shipping. Yeah,
second."
it can be.
I was like,
Yeah.
"This we have to
That's
pause and
not
take a
for the
detour."
yeah.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. So gotcha. So you guys both have kind of had that idea of like entrepreneurship, using this whole thing on the internet in some sort of way. You saw and got the media buying and said, "Okay, cool." That
Exactly.
makes a ton of sense, and I do love that. I think that's so powerful. All the people out here that are not too sure, when people know exactly what your life is like and they know what you need and what your challenges are, that really helps that white glove that you're talking about. So, and make this a fantastic experience. So real soft,
So
real
yeah, let
fast stuff. Were you able
me.
to figure that out and get the
Yeah.
permissions?
Let me. I will just share my entire screen. So let
Perfect.
me do that.
Awesome. So this is actually one of your clients' pages that they use as essentially a pre-sale page, right?
Yes. So what you see here basically is the advertorial or pre-sale page or whatever you want to call it. And when consumer comes from the ad itself on Taboola or Outbrain or any of the other platforms, they usually go to this article. They can, read and do whatever they want in that article. Then they take a click and they go to the offer itself, which you can see here. Now, at this point, the consumer can continue with that flow, add this information, or in many cases, which is like 80% of the time, right? They will close that tab and they will leave. But now what we do, if you go back actually to the advertorial here, you will see now, and I hope you see that,
Mm,
our ad unit, right? So the ad
yeah.
unit, if you can see now Windows replacement, mainly because it was about Windows. So we like to show them the same vertical at the end of the day because the intent is there. So as consumers, we always like to shop around. If I'm looking for a flight on Google, I will go then and go to Expedia or anything like that to look for more flights, right? So it's the same thing at the end of the day. They come here, they click on this ad, and I won't click because I don't want to just waste the clicks here. But
Yeah.
that's the ad unit, and that's how the owner of the site will make the additional revenue. And
Mhm.
again, we can show here complementary services, right? So it doesn't have to be Windows. If the affiliate doesn't want it to be Windows, we can show anything else in the home improvement services, and the same for CPAs and e-commerce, right? We can show other offers based on the audience and the type of the consumers that we think that will be the best match.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Well, I
so
think real fast, one thing I really love about this, if you go back onto the other page, so just even if you just click on, I love that you click advertorial,
yep,
it goes and opens a new tab for you, which feels natural, and you
exactly,
might not even pay attention to it because I know this is a lot of
exactly.
desktop, even on your phone, it just looks
Mm-hmm.
like a new window.
Uh-huh.
And what I
It's
think
a
that's really
false
great
CTR.
about, yeah, yeah, and I love it because like a lot of people might not think to even go back to that page, but eventually they're going
Exactly.
to close out the tab, and so it
Mm-hmm.
almost becomes this like, oh, okay, cool. Like it feels like a fun surprise in a way, or maybe it's your irritated surprise, whatever it is. It's a surprise, and in marketing, a surprise is always a good thing because your expectations are now like they don't have them. So what do they expect next? Great, I want them to always not be sure. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that's really really cool, and I just love that. And you guys obviously optimize and know what the best routes are and always continue to improve that. But
Uh-huh.
it's so simple, but I really, really like the way that they've showed high intent. If they didn't go to the lead, you're still having this avenue. And even if they did go to the lead, like they bought, right? They might still have this tab and go, well, hey, I should click over here. And if you're doing like a CPC campaign and they got the click, you're still making money potentially even twice, right? Because they could
Mm-hmm.
go finish the affiliate offer, get the
Finish
sale,
the
get the
story.
conversion, and they're
Yep.
floating around their tab and they're like, "Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'd be more interested in some other things." Like we know how many people buy more than, like I've told them many offer owners before. They're like sitting there, it's like, why would I ever offer a diabetes supplement to somebody that just bought a diabetes supplement in like 7 days? I'm like,
Yeah.
you should try and find out what happens. And guess
Yeah.
what? People buy diabetes supplements. Just bought one 7 days ago. And where I've talked a lot about the theories behind that, if you hang out with people that are very old, one of their most common subjects are all the things that are happening to their body now that they're old. So that
Yep.
that feeds into why they buy more. But just in general, I think for people to realize from a consumer behavior standpoint, you don't ever really stop being a buyer of certain
You
products,
don't. That's it.
right?
That's the point.
Hopefully,
So
maybe divorce products, maybe eventually you'd stop buying those. But for the most part, you consume something more than once. And this is a way that you could truly get advantage and take advantage of those secondary sales. So let's talk a little about this. Obviously, this makes a ton of sense for native media buyers. For all those that we talked about this before, the native media buying platform is predicated on going from ad to advertorial and then to sales page, right? So
Yep.
all the time. So this
Yep.
makes a ton of sense. Now, we just talked about before, though, it is not just a native media buying advantage. This is for anybody that's using any sort of, it could be a lead page, it could be all sorts of different stuff, right?
Yes.
They have some sort of layer before their ultimate sales page.
Yes.
So kind of curious, so just walk me through like maybe some other scenarios. I think Meta makes a ton of sense to me, but are there any that I might not be thinking about, or maybe some less traditional setups that you guys have done that might be in our audience right now and they think, oh cool, this would be awesome?
So one thing
So
that I want to mention, and I think that that's probably what Avi is going to say, it's about that the solution itself won't work inside an in-app, for example. So you mentioned
Yep.
Meta,
Okay.
obviously.
Yep.
So our solution will work with Meta, but only on desktop because the browser, the mobile app itself, they have their own planet in a way, right? So they don't let
Yeah.
anyone in, which makes it a bit more difficult. That's why most of our consumers and partners are coming from native. But the solution can also work with anyone that has an offer on their thank you page or anyone who uses different type of traffic type, right? So we didn't touch the
I
thank you
love the
page yet,
thank you
but that's,
page.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
super cool. So let's first just to reaffirm what we're talking about for those that might not know, but if you're using like Instagram or Facebook or any of those apps, you notice if you click on links that people send you in there, you don't leave the app, right? It'll
Exactly.
open up
Yeah.
like a basically like a sub window that pulls that URL, but you can't like copy the URL. You can't even really look at it. It just shows the web page. So that's where you'd have this blocker. So unless you're a weirdo like me that only uses Facebook on URLs and on a website, because I'm like, I don't need
Yeah.
that app.
Exactly.
But most people are going to be using the app. So that's where that diminishes. But you said something I think is really freaking cool is a thank you page offer. So
Yep.
talk a little bit about that and how that's been impactful for you guys.
yeah, so the thank you page is the second product that we have as well. Normally, it would be an avenue we could go with, specifically when we can't monetize the leave behind, which is only an in-app traffic. There are other traffic sources, big ones that we're monetizing currently, like SMS and email and search
Oh,
and
SMS. Yeah,
GDN,
that's really cool.
anything with the pre-landing page, and tabs. So either through your
Mhm.
cell phone or your desktop browser. But like Asaf mentioned before, we do have a thank you page monetization page as well. So this is, post action. It could be a sale, it could be a lead, it could be a download, it could be whatever the actual action is, and we would show a thank you page. And the thank you page essentially will look exactly like the leave behind. Same keywords or same direct demand, and typically we'll see a much higher CTR, so in like the 70 to 100 plus range. Sometimes users will click on more than one keyword, and the rates are going to be very similar. But if you look at it overall, like the bulk of the revenue would come from the leave behind, since there's a lot more traffic
Mhm.
compared to the thank you page. If you have 10,000 people going to a pre-sale page a day, and you have, I don't know, 1,000 clicks on that, so you'll have 1,000 impressions on the leave behind. Maybe, if you had a 10% conversion rate, you'd have about, 100 sales.
Yeah, yeah. So that yeah, when you're on the front end, it makes way more sense, right? Like anyone's doing anything with pre-sale pages that are ex- outside the app, right? We'll just kind of say it that way. We want to
Yeah.
make sure it makes sense for
Yeah.
people. But yeah, that makes a whole ton of sense. Like again, I say this and not to just like I think you would be almost stupid to not at least talk to you guys if you're
Yeah.
running any sort of pre-sale pages. Like even if you are doing it just primarily on Meta, like I would still go reach out and have a conversation, right? Hey, what
Yeah.
is the volume? Like, do you even know how many are there other things we could do? It's just makes so much sense for all you media buyers out there. And I would even argue, depending on the offer owner side, like sit and think about this. Where in your business are you getting high intent traffic
Yeah.
to click
Good
on
point.
something? and that you could take advantage of this, and it's not going to disrupt your business. So I almost have to think, because I did think like the thank you page could be interesting. I think there's other avenues could be
Yes.
interesting. So there's lots of stuff. So I do want to talk a little bit about some traffic things just to get people excited about some trends you're seeing. But before that, I think what's really critical is I'm sure there's a lot of people listening. This is like, well, actually, I'm going to ask one more question. But I'm thinking like, why would I not do this? Which is actually the exact question I want to ask you guys.
Yeah.
Why would anybody say no? And I know you can use the typical response of no one would, but like put your best,
People say,
like this is our company business, but like what is the reason that someone would say, hell no, I don't want to touch this at all?
Yeah. So first of all, if you remember last time, I think we talked about it, and usually when I talk to people, I said, I want to pay you money. Like, I'm not trying to convince you to pay us to any subscription or anything like that. We just want to pay you money. But, sometimes when it's more on the thank you page side and the lead gen side, we have those publishers that are concerned about if I generate a lead, let's say for solar, and you show a solar ad at the end, you are kind of competing with my advertisers, which in a way it's true or not, because as I mentioned before, each one of us, we always shop around, right? It's not like if I'm seeing an ad on Facebook for solar for Sunrun, I won't go anywhere else and check about solar panels and compare prices, etc., etc. So that's the main concern that we get, but we are proving our partners wrong in a good way, where it doesn't really hurt their performance at the end of the day. On the leave behind side, we don't have any challenges, because these consumers usually, if they take an action, we show or something else, or they didn't even plan to buy anything, right? Because it's leave behind, consumers who abandoned. So these are the main points. But overall, to be honest, I think that not enough people know about us, and that's a challenge, right? Because we are a small team, and not enough people know about us, and that's why also we are here, and we wanted to have that
right?
Yeah, and
well, not today, whenever this airs, but
we need to do a better job with telling people about us and what we can do and help them. You can find us in any affiliate conference that you go, right? So we go to all of the affiliate conferences, and we are very active. But we need to probably do a better job with telling people what we do.
Well, I'll say just keep doing what you're doing and keep it low key, and then you could just be the best kept secret for all the media buyers that listen to this podcast or listen to other places you might be. So if you're one of those folks, want to circle out, I want to talk about some tactics here, but I definitely want to make sure that people get a chance to know how to reach out to you and contact you. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I think, again, if you are not excited about this, you should find a new industry. In my opinion, if you're any media buying, it should be like, how can I find a way to make this work? Particularly if, like you said, for affiliates, you very rarely, if ever, have access to retargeting information. So once you get the click, you lose the person again, except for with what you guys are doing. Take the abandoned clicks that you spend time and money on getting and actually extract more. It's better for everybody, but it's definitely better for you, because guess what? That traffic is still being monetized by somebody. You just should be able to take a piece of it if you're generating. So I love that. Now, let's kind of flip to a different side of the conversation. Actually, I know I want to talk about some traffic things, but I'm actually really curious about a question, because you mentioned you go to a lot of affiliate conferences. Are there any affiliate conferences that you would say are more hidden gems? They're like they're the UpAds of conferences out there that maybe are coming up. I'll give you an example of like a new one that I'm really excited for, is Affiliate Takeover in Barcelona this July. Obviously, well-experienced affiliate conference folks. They have a really interesting. It feels like to me it's going to be the TNC of the future, which, boy, I've missed that conference and what it used to be, and now it no longer is at all. So kind of curious if there's any hidden gems out there that you recommend cool people showing up for, because we're all cool here, right? We're chill guys.
All cool. Yeah, exactly. So we go to the typical ones, in Vegas and New York and Barcelona that you mentioned last time. I personally like the one in Bangkok, but the issue for me is that it's like 23 hours flight, so we don't really do it often.
But Affiliate World Asia is what you're talking about, right?
And the reason is that when you go there, you meet people that you won't meet otherwise, right? Suddenly you see like this mega affiliate from Vietnam that won't go to other conference, right? And suddenly talk to him and you see that they spend like 100K a day on native advertising, right? So it's a
Yeah.
perfect client for us. So I like
Yeah.
to go to conferences like those about like hidden gems. I think that we try to kind of like get referrals from other partners that we have about like you should talk to him or you should talk to them. So we like to take a lot of calls, and if we can, we meet with people in person. I don't know, Avi, do you have any other like conferences or hidden gems that I'm not aware of?
I think it's just the mainstream ones, those are the ones that the most people are attending. Um, Usually with the smaller conferences, I mean, we've tried a few, like we went to like a lead gen world
UK.
In London a couple of years ago. There were like 100 people there. So, you know,
I guess, yeah.
it,
You guys need that volume game. But I actually
Yeah.
love that you brought up Bangkok, because that is I'd say, like, I have not been to that conference. I've
Yeah.
wanted to for years. And it's always actually just because you said the travel, and then
Havel, yeah.
the time of year. I have 4 kids, and it's like,
Wow, yeah,
hey,
yeah. I have
it's the
two, and
beginning
it's
of
a lot.
yeah, it's beginning of December. This
Yeah,
is the busiest time. Bye.
yeah,
I'll leave my wife with you
yeah.
4 of them for a week. That
Exactly.
sounds like
Yeah,
great. Yeah.
yeah,
So I've always been like, yeah, I'm not doing that until at least
yeah,
the window of the kid window closes a little bit
yeah,
from that perspective. But I love what you're saying, because I've heard that consistently about that conference.
yeah.
It is, of a conference of that size, it's one of the only ones that you get very, very unique people
People, yeah,
that don't go anywhere else.
yeah,
Like, they go to other conferences, but none that we have exposure to, and you get them right there. And it's been always consistently one of the best
yeah.
conferences I hear about all the time. So great one for all those that want to find a reason to go to Bangkok in December, which it's not hard to find a reason to want to go to Bangkok in
Exactly.
December.
By the way, one of the partners that we met, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Bigo. Have you heard about them? Bigo ads,
Biggle ads?
BIGO.
No, I'm not familiar with Big O ads. No.
So apparently, it's a huge app, like a social app in Asia that have like
Hmm.
millions of consumers also in the US. And when I spoke with some of our partners, they said, yeah, we spend 50, 60K a day on those on that app, and no one knows that app.
I
Uh,
had no idea. That's
but they
amazing.
are located in Singapore actually, and I
Hmm.
was able to meet with them in Vegas. Like I went to that show only to meet with them, to a partner of us, because otherwise it's very hard to work with them, right?
Hmm.
They are not like on LinkedIn easily to
Yeah.
connect
Yeah.
and chat with. So I think when you go to conferences like those, you can find those like golden partners that can
Hmm.
change your business also, right? So it's very important to be involved in what's going on that side as
That's
well.
beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think I love that too, because we weren't talking about traffic tips, but what you just
yeah,
gave, I think, is another incredibly valuable tip when people are looking for those next
yeah,
things. What's something that's going to really change my business? One, it might be Affiliate World Asia this year, but those big events, and remembering that there's real value in that. So
yeah.
with that, I don't want you guys to get away with at least one. We're just gonna get one. We're getting close on time, so I just
Yep.
want one kind of maybe traffic tip, trend thing you're seeing that's working well right now,
Hmm.
thing that people should stop doing because it's not working and they need to stop thinking that it does. Whatever it might be, the world is yours. You just tell me what you want, and you want the people to hear.
Yeah,
And then, yeah, we'll finish on a nice, delightful cherry on top of this wonderful
awesome.
content Sunday.
So obviously on mine at least, because I'm using it constantly, the AI changed, my side of the world, right? And I think that anyone who buys media today can really use anything with AI to build like advertorials, ads, content, anything like that in a second, which allow affiliates, publishers, advertisers to test way more things faster, right? So if it took me 3, 5 days to test some different products, today we can do it literally in half an hour, because when I go to platforms like Lovable or Base 44 or anything like that, and you type, just create advertorial that talks about XYZ, it spit out an advertorial in less than 5 minutes, and you can then go and test it. So I think that's going to be big for this year. The ability to test many different creatives and advertorials and all of that with what we see now with AI, which is amazing. And I definitely recommend anyone in the space to start getting into it
Yeah.
if they are
No,
not yet.
that's great because I think that's been brought up a lot
Yeah.
with media buyers in terms of that specific thing. It's all about speed to testing
Hmm.
because ultimately, I think one of the things great about that is speed to testing accelerates what you already do well. If you know how to split test, you know creatives, you know how to like ideate, right? All it's going to
Yep.
do is you don't have to wait for somebody else to write and build it for you. It just
Exactly.
happens. And
Yeah.
so it allows you to speed and test more. But if you don't know how to test, you don't know how to read that stuff, you don't know how to come up with good angles and have them be spit out and kind of create something, it's not going to necessarily make you any better. You need to go back and learn before you start using AI, right? But for those that
Yep.
know and understand and you have the brilliance and expertise, it just accelerates everything you're doing. It doesn't impair it at all. So
Exactly.
no, that's a great one. And I always like to hear more of it because it just continues to validate that if you are not doing that, you're really just falling behind. And if you're
Hmm.
not doing it because you don't know how to use it, get yourself leveled up so you could get there as fast as you can because
Exactly.
it's going to matter a lot. So Avi,
Hmm.
what about you? You got anything for us?
Yeah, I mean, I think as an affiliate, it's really important to diversify. You know, you don't put all your eggs in one basket, and there are lots of offers that are seasonal offers. You know, there are certain times of the year that specific offers work better than other offers. I don't know if we spoke about this. You know, we were talking before about how weight loss wasn't performing
Yeah.
well in the summer months. You
Mm-hmm.
know, but there are other offers that would perform
Or
really well in the
loans.
summer months. Yeah, loans are also seasonal. You know, up through like tax season, like no one's taking loans. They're all waiting for their refunds. You know, Christmas time, people are, you know, they're shopping around, and I think it's important to use that information while you're buying this media, and from different, you know, media platforms. We all know Q4 is going to be the most expensive time to buy media. Um, we all know, you know, the summer months are a great time, you know, maybe for home improvement projects. You know, it's sunny outside. Maybe I'll put solar panels on my house, save some money. Um,
Or
just
those
stuff like
fans
that.
that we see on native. We always see
Yeah,
those.
fans, man. Those freaking fans go like
It's
crazy.
like
Yeah.
my wife's uncle. I told him you are a good client. He bought like 15 of them. I was targeted online to buy those fans, and I'm like, I know what you're talking about. And he bought
Yeah.
those fans, gave to all of us, and it was actually a
Yeah.
good product. So
No, that's actually one of the big things. If you get those people to buy, you know, bundles of that because it's at
yeah.
the right price point, they know everyone needs it, and they get to be the
Hmm.
hero of the day. You're selling heroship.
He
So
was he
yeah,
was the hero.
those
Yeah,
work well.
Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. See, yeah, that's awesome. I love the so wait, loans pick up in the summer. So the rest of the fans I'd heard totally knew that. I didn't, and DIY we've seen that with some of our DIY products, but the
Hmm.
loans one I hadn't heard. I understood makes sense at the beginning of the year with tax season, and so you
Hmm.
guys find is it around like May June that the loan season starts to pick up, and that
Picking
carries
up.
through to
Yep.
the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will pick
Interesting.
up and peak probably in like Q4. You know, that's when people are really looking, you know, for some
Hmm.
loans. The beginning of the year, so like during tax season, you know, might run like a debt consolidation offer. You know, that's when people are,
Hmm.
you know, holidays are over, got to pay off my
Financial
debt.
Regret
advisor.
season. That's what I like to call it. Q1's regret season. We say
Regret
new
season.
you, new year, new
Yeah. Yeah.
you. Really, it's just regret season. So that's what
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
doldrums of winter.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
also
that's
I'm not
awesome.
sure if I think that lots of affiliates need really to read more about the different seasonality
Yeah,
and really try and change what they do based on that.
I think that's great advice, and it's something that as an affiliate, you have. It's one of the best things about being an affiliate. You are agnostic of trends
Hmm.
as long
Yep.
as you know when they're changing, right? So I think that's a bigger piece of it. Versus if I happen to sell the weight loss product in the summer, life's just a lot harder during the summer for me to make money, right? So it's
Hmm.
not like it's going to change, but for an affiliate, it can. I think this is amazing advice. Well, that now we've kind of covered, guys. I really appreciate that. Thanks so much. It was just awesome conversation. But for all those, we just said this is one of the biggest opportunities that could be facing them for this year and to years to come. I truly believe what you guys are offering could be the difference between some affiliates not being affiliates a year from today and those that are going to thrive, because it could be such a massive difference in your business during a changing period, during a whatever period, right? And we know we are experiencing a lot of shifts in the economies and markets, and we see people rising up amazingly and others falling down to the ground. And really, at this point in time, the people have to ask themselves, who am I going to be? And if they're working with you, they're way less likely to be barreling into the ground this time next year. So with that, how can they get a hold of you? What's the best way to reach out for them to clamor and let you pay them money to help their businesses?
So UpAds.com, anyone who wants to go and join us can go to UpAds.com. We also have a dedicated website actually with you guys, which we will obviously share. But UpAds.com, and anyone can find me on, I don't know, Teams. It used to be Skype, but they killed our Skype, so anyone can find us on Teams as well. I'm not sure if we can share that information after, but
yeah, we'll get all that stuff in the show notes, and we'll make sure that it's right down below, and as well as the co-branded link with us. Making sure everyone can drive to that. So yeah, we'll put that out there. We'll probably have flash on the video for those that watch video, and if not, be sure to go look at the show notes. They should be in there. And if all of you still don't want to read or watch or anything else, we have the option to write. Please reach out to affiliated@clickbank.com. And if you're like, just connect us with them, as long as we think you're not going to try and find where they live and steal their socks out of their dirty clothes to do who knows what with, we'll make sure to connect you guys so you could get and start taking advantage of this. Again, I think this is such a huge difference in your business, whether you're kind of considered like mid-tier, maybe a baby, platinum, or gold members. This could be the difference between you ascending to double diamond and beyond and not, right? And for those that are sitting there already successful, why not give yourself an extra Lambo, an extra house, more money for investment, more money for spend, whatever it might be? If you're just staring at that obscure art piece or weird collector's item and think, how can I get there fast and feel okay about it? UpAds could be the reason you finally get that dinosaur bone. So authentic.
And one thing I want to add, if any of our clients is going to watch that lovely podcast and they want to work with ClickBank, they can also reach back to us, and we are going to connect them with you guys.
Of course. We're happy to get you guys buying your dinosaur bones as well. So with that, really appreciate your time. Please, all the listeners out there, reach out, take advantage, and then of course let us know, rate, review, subscribe, do all the things, hit the bell, slam the button, all the things they tell us to do. Most importantly though, reach out to us with any questions, comments, feedback, other things you'd like us to hear, like us to talk about. We do listen to those. I should say Thomas reads them and he sends them to me when they're good, because apparently I can't read or look at any email beyond my own. So really appreciate that. And because he's not here, what we always tell the people is, or he tells them, is happy scaling. And until next time, have a good one. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, guys. Bye-bye.